welcome everyone to Talks with Me, a podcast entertainment edition. This is the only show that breaks down the journey on how to become the next media mogul with weekly interviews from the biggest entertainment game changers. Today, we have an exceptionally dope guest, Ty Cole. He is an entertainment reporter, a copywriter, and a producer. You may have seen him on Revolt and BET, interviewing celebrities like Gabrielle Union, Will Smith, and Oprah Winfrey. Okay. So I'm so excited to hear more about his journey. Welcome, Ty.
Wow, this is such a good intro. I
Oh,
mean,
thanks.
the best of the best. My goodness.
I had to come correct. I have great guests on, so I just want to make sure everybody knows.
I feel honored. Well, thank you for having me. I mean, ever since we've met and I've seen even your journey, so I'm happy you're having this kind of platform for us. You always just have been so not only just warm and welcoming, but
Oh,
driven, hardworking. So it's also great to talk to somebody else who, when we see each other.
yes, that's so true. That is so true. So to start off the interview, I want to know how long has your journey been? Like, how many years has it taken you to get here where you are?
6.5 years.
Okay. So let's talk about it. Like, right out of college, I'm assuming you hopped into this, or are you not even counting those like right out of college years?
Right out of college because that's honestly when it started. And it was more
Mhm.
like 6 years and some change because I made 6 years in September. So when I graduated college, so I went to college in Philadelphia.
Mhm.
I have a really interesting relationship with Philadelphia. So my grandfather, before he unfortunately passed away, he used to live in Philly. So when
Mhm.
he found out that I was going to LaSalle University, he was like, "Oh my God, grandson, you're gonna love it." I don't really see what you're seeing, but like we'll see. I still don't see what he's seeing. I think because I just didn't get a chance to explore Philly like how I wish I was able to. Being from New York is very different. So being from
Yeah.
New York, I know the area, I know the state. Like I'm from Manhattan, Upper West Side. My family's from Harlem. Harlem raised me, period. So running the New York streets was different. Going to Philadelphia in a different environment, different area, different space. It's a little bit different. So I really didn't explore too much. I wish I did. But when I was there, one thing I did explore is the opportunities. So when I first
Mhm.
got to college, literally the first week of my freshman year, I went to the radio station. I was like, I want my own show. And they
Yes.
were like, okay, because they were asking people to have their own radio show. And I said, and I want 2 hours.
Oh,
And
okay.
right, no, come out the gate hot. Okay. So I said, I want 2 hours. And then I said I want it on Fridays and I wanted a specific spot because it reminded me of when I was watching Wilmington Park. So the spot I wanted was 6 p.m. To 8 p.m. And
Okay.
this was party hour because in my mind, I'm like, no one is listening to the radio really too much during the day. We're all moving around,
Mhm.
going to class, or taking a nap right after class. Like it's college. Like you're trying to get a nap in wherever you can fit it.
Facts.
But on Friday nights, my logic was around 6 to 8, you're kind of either in the dining hall, so you're kind of
Mhm.
down. You want to hear some music. The dining hall is not really playing no good music. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you don't want to hear too much talk on regular radio because sometimes it could be talking for a long time. And you want to hear some hot topics. And then you're also either doing that or getting dressed.
Yep.
So I said, I want that spot. Now, after they looked at me and was just like, okay, freshman. So for them to thought they're going to set me up by giving me the spot and see how I'm going to fail. And then I had the highest rated radio show for 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, since I was doing it. People knew the show. First, it was Ty Cole and Friends. And then we rebranded the following year when it had a new set of hosts. It kind of gave what the Breakfast Club gives now. So it was me and I had three hosts and then rotated them after a while because, people just had different priorities. But anyway, did hosting, hosted fashion shows, was in fashion shows. I had celebrities come. One of my first interviews ever was with Jacquees.
Oh, that's a throwback. That's hilarious.
Yes, I was 19 years old. And that was my first taste. And all of
Hmm.
sense as I'm like explaining the journey because it prepared me for where I am today. Every little thing that had happened to me in college, public embarrassment, public scrutiny, dealing with different things and having conversations with publicists at the age of 19 and 20, it was very, culture shocking because I've never experienced it. So I
Yeah.
remember, I don't know if I can say this or not, but I think it's fine if I say it now.
Oh, what's going on? What do you want to tell
So
me?
I was about to interview Jacquees. There was a
Mm.
situation. This is when I learned about off-limit topics.
Okay, got you.
So Jacquees's people told me, because this was during the time I think like there was something going on with Berman and Cash Money Records and all of these things or whatever. And that was even part of my line of questioning I had for Jacquees. Um, but basically they said you cannot ask him anything about that, or we're gonna shut down the interview. And I said, okay. And I did not ask him anything like that. We had 15 minutes and he liked it. And then that just kept going. And full circle moment, I interviewed him last year for Revolts. And I'm at a big
Hmm.
forum, and we talked about that moment. He was like, damn, like that was like a few years ago. I'm like, it was. And look at how we're speaking to each other on a whole other platform and we're both
Yeah.
extended in our careers.
And I
Anywho,
love that. I love that. I want to talk more about the progression because I looked on your LinkedIn and it is stacked. Like your hustle does not go unnoticed. And I feel like that scene, like within the story you just told about knowing what you wanted right when you came on campus, and then looking at your LinkedIn and seeing not only like how much work you've put in, but also how you've like transitioned through different fields. So you started on in PR, then I saw you that you transitioned a little bit and did like social media, and now you're doing more like writing, interviewing. I would love to talk a bit about those like transitions and kind of what were the things that you learned from each, kind of, I guess, job category that you went through.
so I graduated college 2018. And my best friend, who I live with now, Jada, we've been best friends since fifth grade. So she was working at a PR agency called Lauren Media Group. And she was working there. And she said, hey, like there's an event that DJ Self has. So you should
Hmm.
come and volunteer. So I said, okay. And one thing I learned is never say no to an opportunity because you don't know
Hmm.
where the opportunity is going to land you.
Yes.
Went there, I met a man named Wally Bearfield. Wally Bearfield, Wally Bearfield, Wally Bearfield. The reason why I say that is because without Wally Bearfield, I promise I would not be where I am today in these spaces.
Wow.
Wally had or has a publication called Your Voice Magazine,
Hmm.
a conglomerate of Your Voice Media. So he found me, we had a conversation, he hired me as his personal assistant. As personal assistant, he was the only person doing on-air interviews. And he said, I think they want a young, fresh face. You want to do this anyway. How about you be our correspondent?
Look at God.
Yeah. So now I'm the correspondent. But now, I'm thinking about, okay, how can we elevate? Because
Hmm.
I'm looking at the lens of watching shows I grew up on that, influenced me, like 106 in Park,
Hmm.
Center, Rap City, you know what I'm saying? Like watching things on E, the Daily Pops, like
Yeah.
those were my first representations of what a journalist looked like, even down to Khadijah from Flavor Magazine. Like that's
Yes.
my first looks, and also people who look like me. So working at Your Voice Media really helped me to get to all of the jobs because I'm doing 20 jobs at once. And I didn't have a job after college. So I'm doing all of this for free. Let's be clear, folks. Yes, is getting that check, is getting that coin now. But when I started, I was not getting a coin. But I was getting the exposure and I was in the
Yeah.
so when I worked with Wally, my first event was Dream Doll. And I had to pitch for that. So I'm going through different emails, I'm asking different people, I'm building relationships since I got with him.
Hmm.
And they said, you guys can earn a spot on the carpet. I said, okay. And it was for Life in Plastic 2. And as I was meeting other people there, that's how I started getting other jobs and other connections. And one person I definitely want to thank in particular, she's my best friend now, Keisha K from Hollywood Unlocked. We met
Okay.
through her colleague Deja, who she was on the line to get in for the event. And I had met her online and I looked very confused and she helped me out. And Keisha was late. Um, she was late and she got there and she asked, can she use our ring light? And through that, her asking that, we just built a really great bond. So she also was able to put me in position with the people. So I started working at this other place. It was called Serene Agency, and her name was Nia. And I did a little bit of PR there for like a hot minute. But then I started to work for other publications. And I said, well, I don't want to just rely on these publications to give me interviews. I want them to know who Ty Cole is. And I knew from an early age that like I was never going to just be that guy who works at such and such. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna be, this is Ty Cole who happens to work at this, and this. So I was able to work social media and etc. So here's how I learned that to get to where I am now. I was working social media at this place called Current. And I really didn't have that much experience too much as a social media manager. They didn't need to know that though. But I knew my own social media. So when I
Mm-hmm.
started I understood a little bit more about influencer marketing. I learned more about paid advertisements. I learned more about pitching myself even better, or like how to like, do like a great press release and etc. So I was
Mm-hmm.
learning on the job. So that's how I kind of like took all those skill sets and I said, well, since we're in a digital age, the best way for folks to know you is through social media. So that's how I got my job at BET. They tweeted out they're looking for a music writer. I tweeted that I was interested and I sent my email. And shout out to Ashley Mitchell because she is the person that got me to BET. She sent my resume in, and next thing you know, they reached out to me a few months later. And they didn't want me as a music writer, they wanted me as an on-air personality. Um,
Yes. Okay. I love that so much because you really never know like how your next opportunity is going to come, especially in entertainment. It's not the regular, just like apply to the job online. It really is about like who you know, these networks you're building, the connections. So I really love that. Okay. Continue. My bad.
Sorry if I'm long-winded. Like I'm trying to give you all of the everything so you guys can get the picture. So if I am long-winded, which I can be sometimes, let me know. So we got there. I reached out to a friend of mine at Revolt, who's my boss now, and I said, hey, you guys looking for somebody as a writer, looking for another opportunity? We got that. So really what I would say is use the platforms that you have in order to get to where you want to be. In entertainment, in any kind of media space, it's relationships, but also now
Mhm.
social presence. And that doesn't mean you have to have a billion followers for them to like want to work with you. That just
Mhm.
be proactive. So like be proactive on LinkedIn. Like I'm sure you see, like I'm literally posting every little thing I do
Yeah, you do.
and
Mhm.
having conversations and doing that. And honestly, I've gotten every media job from that, like BET, Revolt, the VP at Mashable. Literally,
Mhm.
we had a conversation on the phone when I've landed going to Essence Fest, and I was like, "Oh, like this is an interview," and she was like, "No, I want you. How can we get you on the team?" And that's because they saw value in me. Because
Mhm.
if you're not going to open that door for me, I'm going to break down them hinges and open the door myself so but you can see me. So I cold call, I connect with folks on there, even if I don't know you for real. Like if I
Mhm.
see you're in the space I want to be in, I'm gonna connect with you. I'm gonna send you a note. And whether you answer or not, now we're connected. So you're gonna see all the things that I'm doing regardless now. So now it's gonna make you want to be like, well, you know what? I think we have a good opportunity for Tyler here or Ty Cole here, whatever you want to call me. Let's see how we can get him to work with us or collaborate with us and etc. So those are the things I would say got me to where I am and got me to have all these different positions and etc. And every job is different. Like you're gonna do multiple,
Mhm.
you're never gonna just do one thing. As a social media manager, unfortunately, you're not just managing socials. You're copywriting, you're doing influencer stuff, you're producing, you're editing, you're creating, you're designing, you're doing 20, can I curse?
Yeah, yeah.
Doing 20 motherfucking things at once. So all of that to say you build those skill sets because of all of the different things that you're doing, which is great in hindsight because now you can be like, you know what? I don't want to do social no more. I want to do copywriting. And now you have
Mm-hmm.
experience. So you know what? I want to be an associate producer at, let's say, Condé Nast. Oh, well, I have this experience. So now they're more inclined to work with me because not only do you have that experience, you have 20 things, other things you've done before. So they see you as a really hard worker who can be versatile as well.
Yeah, you touched on so many things. So one thing that you talked about was the networking and knowing how to talk to people on cold pitching, basically. How do you approach it? Like, what are you saying in these messages? Because I feel like a lot of times people don't know professionalism. And I know people will be like, oh, professionalism, like it's like people will act like it's a white thing. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes. And I'm just like, no, everybody needs to have some type of professionalism to excel in their career. So for you, when you're doing these cold opens or these cold calls, cold emails, what are you writing them? What are you saying?
Yeah. Well, one, I want to definitely make it clear if you think that it's a white thing, you're thinking the wrong thing. And
Yes.
stay in the position that you're in if you think like that. What I say is I bring them the things that I have done. So I'm saying, hey, my name is such and such, and I currently work with this, and this outlet with this much of experience. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm basically writing to the people, understanding what they have that I want. So if it's like a publication and I want to talk to a publicist, talking about their clients, I'll have to get them sharing that I work at these outlets. This is what I've done. I'm sharing my muck rack page, which has my portfolio of all of my articles. And then I'm
Mm-hmm.
sharing what I'm looking for. So if I'm like, hey, I want to learn more about your projects, I'm putting that in there. Hey, I want to learn about, the upcoming slates you may have, or I think that some of your clients may align with some of these outlets. Let's have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, okay, cool. And they'll see my page. Make sure if you are cold pitching on LinkedIn, you have a bunch of work there that they can see because, they can also like, what's the word I'm looking for? Not hidden look, but they can hide themselves and view your page secretly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you don't have work on there, but you're saying whatever you're doing, you have nothing to show for it, they're going to be less inclined to respond. So know
Mm-hmm.
the prompt, know the ask, have works to back up what you are sharing so that way they can know you are legit, and just be direct what you want. And also be patient.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be patient because people have things to do. I had to learn more patience because in the beginning, when you're starting, you don't have that much to do. So you're like, where is the next?
Yes.
You're waiting. You're like, you're ready. But being in this position that I have now, I currently work with 6 different publications,
Mm.
6 different things, and each of them probably has given me at least one assignment. So when someone's pitching me or reaching out to me, I can't even think about that right now because I have
Yeah.
these other priorities. So being on both ends, give that person grace. And if they don't respond to you, find another person who's probably in the same, position or industry because maybe they may catch it. And then that will get you looped in with the person you originally reached out to. And now you guys are having a whole conversation. So let them know what you can bring to the table and not
Mm-hmm.
ask what they can bring to your table. I would
Love
say that.
that. Love that. For you, for like, what do you feel like are some misconceptions when it comes to like being an entertainment journalist? Because I feel like so many people think this is like such a glamorous career, but I mean, I know some of the things that go on, but what would you say are some of like the misconceptions that people have about being on the red carpet or just interviewing celebrities in general?
that they think the bigger celebrity in their eyes means like, oh my God, you're getting a big ass check, you're rich, you're
Mm-hmm.
this, you're lit. Like, I can't tell you how many people when they saw me interviewing Oprah, they just thought like I just hit the damn jackpot. And I'm like, Oprah give me no damn $1 million. It would be nice if Oprah did give me $1 million, Oprah. But you don't get that much in return sometimes, regardless if you're talking to the bigger person. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, you have to capitalize off of that. So you can't get comfortable and think, using her as an example again, I talked to Oprah, I'm good. You're not, baby. You and a million motherfuckers around here have also spoken to Oprah at some
Yeah.
point, and they have to still grind harder. So never get complacent. Like, yes, I work at these amazing publications and I love them, but I'm not going to stop going even harder with working with them and making sure that I am showing value to not just them, but other publications and other people as well. And then I will also say, don't pigeonhole yourself to just that. Like, I think a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people think, oh, like, I'm gonna just be a journalist, like, where it's like, yes, but also think big, baby. Like, what else would you like to do? Expand on that. Like, I love being a reporter, but I also want to now moderate. So
Mm-hmm.
also opening your mouth, like closed mouths don't get fed. People think because you worked at these publications that people should just automatically flock to you and be like, oh, you work here, like let me just come and grab him and just like give him all the opportunities. No, like you still have to show them why you should
Yeah.
be, and the money's gonna come. Like I said earlier, none of us is rich. If anything, a lot of us could still be struggling. uh,
Mm-hmm.
and being transparent, like I still have a 9 to 5 job that I work at in addition to being a reporter, because the coin is cute, but the coin ain't gonna pay all the bills. So, until I get to a position where I am like a Gia Peppers or like
Mm-hmm.
my boy Denny or like a few other people who I know, or Francesca, then yes, then I can be a little more comfortable. And even them, when I talk to them, they're like still pushing and elevating and finding ways to.
Yeah.
So those are some of the misconceptions. Oh, one more I have too. I don't have their numbers. Like people think, let me tell you, anytime I have spoken to somebody, they'd be like, oh my God, like, do y'all talk? Like, you must be cool with Will Smith, but you talk to him. Like, I am not. I mean, I'm sure if he sees me, maybe if he remembers
Yeah, yeah.
their number. I have some folks' number, which I won't say whose, but I'm not friends with all these people. Like, they think
Mm-hmm.
we're just buddy buddies, we're friends outside, we hanging out. Like, that's not every case. That may be a little bit, but that's not every case. We cannot be texting Oprah or Will Smith for you because you want to talk to them or because you want to pitch them for your client or whatever the case. We don't have the number.
Right. Oh, that's funny. And even if I do have the number, I'm not hitting them up like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not
I
every
would just up
Sunday.
like, hey yo, homie who I'm cool with, he wants that. I'm like, what? Like, they have things to do. Like, let's figure out a better pitch and then we can have a conversation.
That's hilarious. But yeah, you're a Black queer man working in entertainment, and I know that a lot of times, a lot of times, specifically in the music industry, it can be homophobic at times, and it can be very misogynistic. For you, do you feel like who you are as a person is sometimes not appreciated or seen? And I don't know, have you ever had experiences where you felt like you had to like put yourself in a box because of this career that you've chosen, or how have you like navigated that, if it's affected you at all?
That was some of my thoughts when I was younger because I just didn't see me on TV.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially as a reporter. And if I was on TV, I barely saw anybody who was Black,
Yeah.
queer on television. So, while I wanted this career, I always thought to myself, like, will I ever make it? Like, is there room for me?
Mm.
When I got into this space, I'm trying to think. I had one experience with a D-list celebrity who we need to, say names because where are they now? But I remember when they basically was being misogynistic and was just like, if you want me to answer these questions, like put some more bass in your voice. So,
Mm.
you know, and when I heard that, it kind of just took me aback. But being bullied in high school and middle school, it was kind of like there ain't shit you could say to me that's gonna make me feel any type of way because I already experienced something like that before. So whatever you're saying is gonna roll off my back. I'm gonna think you're a dickhead, yes, but it's not gonna really bother me. So I was
Mm-hmm.
that's been my only experience. I think if anything, I'm more surprised at how open and how
Okay.
people want me in this space and how some of the dudes who you probably would even think like, not saying you think they're any kind of way, but they're just like, yo, man, like you are so fucking dope. You're so fucking bomb. Like, and I get that all the time where like they are comfortable within themselves. 'Cause I'm comfortable
Mm-hmm.
with myself because baby, I don't want you.
Yeah.
So I
But
already have it.
I think that's such a testament to like who you are as a person because when I watch you as an interviewer, one, I think you have like amazing questions. I'm always like, oh, that was such a like in-depth question. Like obviously he did his research, you know what I'm saying? And then I feel like your personality always makes people feel welcome. And so I feel like that's just a testament of who you are, regardless of what, your sexual preferences or anything like that. So I'm glad that you have experienced like open arms within the industry because a lot of people have different stories. But yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate you sharing that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I think because when you come into a space, you're coming to work. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming in there, I'm already like laser focused. And like when we're talking, with them questions I'm hitting at you, you can even think about who I'm fucking. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You're thinking about, damn, like this is such a good question. Like, how am I gonna answer him? Like, oh my God, like he really did his research. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
in with just the job. I'm here for the work. I'm here for this check. Like you're here for this work and this check. So let's
Yeah.
focus on this money. Let's get interview and let's put it out there. I think the only thing I have experienced, and it's not orientation related, is more of me being young related.
Okay.
I've had that experience where people are so enamored with me being young, and I don't really like saying how old I am because when I do, especially for somebody who is more seasoned, they tend to look at it like, and I've had literally it's been nonstop with that. I deal with that on a consistent basis where people
Mm.
older than me who feel like they should, and this is them thinking this or them feeling this, or
Yeah.
other people saying this is probably how they feel. These are not my words for the folks at home. They will say, oh my God, like maybe they're upset because they wish they were in this position, like how you were and how
Mm-hmm.
you are at their age. And now they're not, or they feel like they should be more ahead, but they're looking at you like, well, damn, like, how is he doing it? Where I feel like instead of you sitting at home wondering, how am I doing it? How about we figure out how we can get you to the same position as well? Because we could work with each
Yeah.
other. So that's the only time, and I deal with that even to this day. There are people who get upset that I'm doing this or I'm doing that, or I'm talking to this person, I'm talking to that person. I've gotten shade thrown at me many times, whether it was on a carpet, in passing, saying hello to people, even sometimes like working with certain kind of people, having
Mm-hmm.
shade thrown at me. So I don't let it get to me, um, because I'm that bitch. So I just feel like
Yes.
I just feel like when you are that bitch, you don't have the time to think about what this person is thinking about. You have the time to think about what's your next opportunity, your next goal in mind. So when you
Mm-hmm.
think about things like that, you don't have time to fret over the next person.
And I feel like comparison is the fastest way for you not to excel at anything. You know what I'm saying? If you keep being envious of other people and what they're doing and you trying to figure it out and you salty, like all that negative energy is just gonna have you sitting. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna elevate you like positivity will. So that leads me into how I did it segment. So basically, I'm going to ask you a question on how you do something within your career and you could break it down. So, since we were just talking about how you're elevating and getting all these jobs and positions, let's talk about how you did it. So, how do you prepare for a celebrity interview? What is your process?
I do the research. So
Mm-hmm.
I know there's some journalists who I've heard they don't even watch the film. They just kind of have generic questions for these celebs, and the celebs can see that. And I've seen it happen. Celebs like, do you even watch my show, or do you even read the book, or listen to the podcast? So I actually do watch every screener that they send me for whomever it's about.
Mm-hmm.
I am doing a deep dive into their lives. So past interviews, things they're doing on social media, or just like questions that I think that they're not really asked and
Mm-hmm.
about themselves. I try to also make sure that I'm making it about them. For an example, for Kelly Rowland, people love to always ask her about some damn Beyonce.
Beyonce. I already knew.
And if I know that you were a part of like a really big group or something and you're always asked that, I try not to ask it unless it
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. So make the interview about that person. And then I don't get nervous, like, or feel, oh my God, like if I didn't get a question in, or I go with the flow. So how we sitting here right now, and I don't know what question you're about to ask me, I'm just going with the flow. And as I'm answering, and when you're listening, you're actively listening, sometimes you'll have another question from actively listening to what they're answering.
Mm-hmm.
I will trump the other question. So those are some tips. I can't give all the gems, but
Okay, I appreciate that. So we're gonna get into our last segment. I'm gonna ask you three questions, and you could just, tell me how you're feeling. So I'm gonna ask you, what do you regret? What do you hope for? And what do you want to receive and manifest? So feel free. What do you regret? What do you hope for? And what do you want to receive and manifest?
let me think. What do I regret?
Just in your career now. Don't be giving me like old relationship regret.
Yeah, no. So, like, do I regret anything in my career right now? No, because everything happens for
Mhm.
a reason. And if I regretted something, it would have steered me off of the path that
Yeah.
I'm on. So no regrets. What
What
was
do
it?
you hope for?
What do I hope for?
Hmm.
I just hope that I can continue to make a decent living with my career, but I hope that my career is impactful and
Yes.
inspiring. Uh,
Hmm.
and I think it is when people DM me every other day about how like I've either inspired them,
Hmm.
how I have motivated them, how they take the career more seriously by watching me. So I really hope that it is just as impactful and inspiring now in the future.
Beautiful. And what do you want to receive and manifest?
More money. No.
Yeah.
I want that too. I want to manifest, continue to expand the Thai Cole brand. Because like I said earlier, like I love being a journalist, but like I don't want to just,
Mhm.
so I
Yeah.
have dreams and goals. Like I want to own my own wine and spirit line, which I will do at some
Yes.
point. I want to also act and produce and have
Hmm.
shows on, different networks, and do different little things like that. So I want to continue to expand and hopefully open the door for the next queer person. If they see me on a television screen, they're like, you know what, because he's doing that, I can do
Mhm.
manifesting more Black people in general in
Yes.
space, but also more Black queer people. Because looking at folks like Karamo, who I'm really cool with, and we see each other, seeing him on screen, Justin Sylvester, who honestly is one of my idols currently outside of like
What
Queen of
is he in? Who is Justin Sylvester?
Buster is on E. So he
Okay.
was on Daily Pop and Nightly Pop. No, lies. He was on Daily Pop. He would fill in on Nightly Pop. He does a Today with Hoda and uh
Oh, okay. Yes, I know who you're talking about.
yes, him. Um and even he said there wasn't many people on screen for him. But
Mhm.
been able to be on E and he's opened up doors. So I want to do the same thing. I'm manifesting more of us in space.
Yes, love that. Love that. Thank you so much, Ty. I appreciate this conversation so much.